This is something that I've been wanting to express myself about regarding this hot topic. And well, first of all, yeah, it is absolutely terrible what's going on down there in Palestine, Gaza. However, there is so much terrible shit going on this planet. And I really don't see what all the hype is about for that particular place. I mean, I can see why it's hyped up, but I don't see how or why us here in like the Western world is, well, why so much attention from the Western world is ought to go there. Because, well, this is the thing. Palestine, it is a Muslim country. And first of all, yeah, also I want to say there is, I consider a difference between Muslims and Islam. I mean, as I've understood, Muslims is just like, what it means is basically living like a good, humble human, you know. And however, well, what Islam qualifies as a humble human, you know, is like it's quite rigid, you know. If you don't acknowledge this type of God, this type of prophet, and you know, these kinds of things, then it's like, then you're not a good person. So it's like, well, yeah, like Islam don't, what it's called, don't advocate or like Islam don't approve of killing of innocent people. But then the definition of what is innocent is kind of like, okay, yeah, if you don't acknowledge this being the name of the God you worship, and this is the prophet that you recognize as the one, and this, that, and the other, then it's like, well, then all of your other qualities, it means nothing, pretty much. So, and I want to say, like, I can really appreciate qualities within Muslim people that comes from, well, Islamic principles. However, Islam as a whole, I'm not a fan of. I really am not. I'm not a fan of, like I'm not a big fan of any religion in particular, although I F a lot with like the Vedic teachings and scriptures and all of that. But yeah, just stay to this topic regarding Islam. Yeah, I can really appreciate certain qualities within Muslim people and communities, definitely, especially Muslim women. There are definitely, in the ideal society, I can definitely see certain qualities within Islam that can be applied to the ideal society that could be very beneficial. But I am now here in the Western world. I am from the Western world, and if I'm not a big fan of the Western world either. Just get that straight. But if I had to choose to live in a Western country, Western society, or Islamic country where Islam is very applicable. My English is a little flawed, but I think I make myself understood. Then I would choose Western society any day, any and every day of the week, without a doubt. That's just what it is. I also think, though, because the Western world, you know, values achievements and, you know, material possessions and this and that, you know. So, and regarding my qualities, I think my qualities could, in many cases, be more appreciated in like a Muslim society, but I just, find it way too rigid and too extreme, and I don't really I don't think we could really say that Islam is a very like tolerable like religion or culture and way of living. Is like, I am way more with like the Tao Te Ching, let things be as they are, and do like what you do, just be integral to yourself and be, be good, let things be as they are, and do good, be an example of what you want to see, and let others, if they are sinning or do whatever, then it's like, well, let them do whatever they're doing. But if they try to come here and mess with me, like then of course I'm not just gonna turn the other cheek, like, because that could maybe get me killed anyway. I'm wobbling here, but what my point comes down to is, stop glorifying Palestine and stop demonizing Israel. I'm not a big fan of Israel either, definitely not. But I feel like they get so much shit because it's like, well, and I can understand where that is coming from, but this is the thing. Israel could easily destroy Palestine if they wanted to. They could bomb the whole thing and just like that, but they are holding back they are holding back on their potential offense. They are holding back. They are not going full, like, they could destroy Palestine if they wanted to, but they're holding that back. Palestine, if they could, I'm certain they would bomb all of Israel. And that's also the same thing, like us here in the Western world. It's like we're like being encouraged to help Palestine, but it's like, well, there are so many other places that I also could help. So why should I help a country or like a culture that if they were to get a lot more power and resources and whatnot, if they could choose, they would get rid of the Western society, and maybe rightfully so. But hey, now we are in the Western society here, and it's like, why should we support a country that if they could would get rid of us? Doesn't really make much sense. So it's unfortunate the way the world is, although the way it's not necessarily a healthy way to go about it and look at it like the world is the way it is, and so therefore I'm gonna be a certain way. It's like, no, actually the world, there's so much room for positive and negative shit going on in this world. So it's like the world will reflect back to you how you are. And so the world is not as it is. The world is as you are. But of course, if you're watching the news and everything, then you will see what the, a certain, what certain influences on the planet, certain powers, very dark forces on the planet, what they want people to see and how they want people to perceive the world. It's 2024. I should not need to even mention this. And speaking of propaganda and shit, like, when it comes to Israel, again, like I said, stop demonizing Israel and this Israeli people, like, you know, to that extent. They have a very shady government for sure, definitely. But and the Israeli people, like the so-called Jews, yeah, they are not the real Jews. The real Jews were black people, you know, and the Israelis now, most of them completely unconsciously live off a stolen identity. And most of Israelis, you know, as I might be wrong, but my impression is that like Israeli people are very, very brainwashed. Like it seems like almost literally every single one of them actually believes in the official story of 9/11. Like seriously, I thought we were past the Stone Age, but anyway, that kind of goes both ways. I'm not gonna go too much into that, but I mean, then again, I mean, I can feel like many Islamic countries kind of live in kind of Stone Age with Stone Age principles and shit as well. Now that I think about it, Stone Age, that was maybe even a very appropriate word to to use metaphorically. But yeah, so there is so much more that there's definitely so much more that can be said and clarified about this, and everyone is not gonna like agree with me, and this is just like a worthless opinion, you know. Opinions are not very helpful, but expressing oneself can be healthy for oneself, but don't expect others or like demand others to think or agree with you. That's retarded. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, it felt like there was something more I wanted to say there. I don't know how to pause this. Like I have a new phone and I can't stand technology, but I would pause now if I could, but I can't. I understand natural things, health, human health and shit. Things that have been the same for a very long time and will remain the same for a very long time. But all this technology, all this artificial shit, artificial society we live in, I don't vibe very much with that. This is really annoying, but I guess I'm just gonna wrap it up right there. All right. If you've been watching, I appreciate it. And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Of course, thank God. I mean, feel free to try to tell me why I'm, you know, wrong, because I know by the end of the day, you know, compassion is the only key. And I mean, we're all consciousness belongs to God. We're all of the same source by the end of the day. So, like, my take on this is just like my opinion, you know, but I know that truth is much deeper and more tolerable. So it's like, feel free to like tell why I'm wrong, you know. From a rational standpoint, I am pretty much right, you could say. I don't think there's much else to discuss about that, but one layer deeper of the truth, I know there's more to this. And yeah, I think I make myself understood. So yeah, how can we bring this all back to compassion and try to, I mean, we could try to rationalize a reason to why I'm wrong in this, and yeah, how to go about these complex topics and discussions. I gotta wrap it up right there. Peace.